Welcome back to the next episode of the 5 chapter rule. This time we're covering Gunhed, which instead of being first 5 chapters, it's the all 3 chapters. It's a short manga. It's an advertisement essentially for the English version of a Japanese movie.
Oh, you can tell.
You can tell. I mean, I've got the actual book versions. My Brad read it online, which is black and white. Mine the color because I've got the book. But yeah, it was a Japanese movie. It was very successful in Japan. Same name, and they were. I don't know if it was an English dub or if it was an English version, like English actors and whatnot, doing the exact same movie. I don't know. But though to encourage, like, I guess people to go and see it, they did this like free little comic version of a manga, which goes through the story of the film, but in a limited way, so you still have a reason to see the film. But the brief story summary though is a robot war ensued on a small robot production island in the Pacific in the year 2025, where a sentient supercomputer Chiron 5 has decided that mankind was irrelevant. I heard that one before. A mecha battalion of Gunhed warriors, huge Transformer-style tanks, were dispatched to eliminate Chiron 5. They didn't succeed, but Chiron 5 was essentially marginalized.
It just
So,
stopped.
so no more force was sent. Now, 13 years later, due to a depletion of world resources, the key component that creates supercomputers, Tex-Mexium, yeah, I shit you not, they actually used that name.
Yep, that is what they use.
Is in short supply as are spare microchips. A group of salvagers have decided to enter the Forbidden Zone. Go to the island in hopes of collecting gunhead chips, which are now worth more than gold. Which I'm going to assume is more the plot of the movie, because a lot of this feels not exactly... You don't see as much of this in the actual comic version. The plot it is interesting. The plot changes from a sci-fi Gundam-like story to an alien-style horror before going into like a thriller.
I've just read it 5 minutes ago, and I don't understand a damn thing that happened.
I mean, I read it. It didn't help that I think the black and white scans are not as.
Oh no, their
clear.
translation is absolutely, mind my language, fucking garbage.
Yeah, I've got the benefit of reading the actual physical version, which actually has a better translation.
Gunhed apparently stands for Gun Unit of Heavy Eliminate Device. That's stupid.
And yet I've heard worse ones in reality.
So the machine tried to destroy things. 6 technicians stayed. That's a big plot point, apparently. Then it just stopped.
With 6 families of technicians, I think.
The island was closed as a contamination zone. And then it goes 13 years later. Cyber enhancements are now a thing. The guy's name was not translated into this, well, the version I was reading very well.
Brooklyn.
So I don't know if you've read the online version, but it keeps giving him a nickname, and it makes it incredibly difficult to read.
What was the nickname?
Brew. So it just sounds like he's saying bro all the time.
That's brilliant. I did say Brooklyn and they...
Like, even Gunhed will say, come on, bro. I'm like,
I read both a little bit of the online one just so I could gather pictures.
Yeah.
Or the
translation is not great.
No, the online translation is not great. So you can pick it up, I guess. The set of 3 costs about 20 quid online on eBay or whatever.
If you want to keep hearing about brew and bro, feel free to read it.
That's the online
Right.
one. I mean, if you get the
So
physical one, it's like 20 quid. I mean,
he saves the lady,
hmm.
pulls out some shrapnel from her, and then he gets slapped for no reason.
Oh yeah.
He did nothing but help her. There is no reason she should have done that.
Yeah, I mean, the there's more things that don't make sense. I mean, the overall like what probably the plot of the film is not the book version, the actual plot, the actual overall plot. I actually like the idea of, but you can really tell this is like a sparse movie adaptation. It just doesn't flow like a manga should. I mean, it is very much like they're cutting out key aspects so you have a reason to see this movie. You know, so you don't like if it went too detailed, you wouldn't see the movie, I guess.
Well,
So,
chapter
but
one,
it's
nothing
just weird.
happens.
No,
There is like 20 words. That's it.
I mean you get to see the gunheads in action. I mean,
I'll get to that.
there's a lot of bits I'm confused about, but I'll get to some of that in the character aspect. We do get to see some nice action scenes in the final one, chapter 3, I guess.
Chapter 2 is dense.
Chapter 2 is dense.
Like it's like 200 pages of text.
Yeah.
It's like reading an essay to which you don't know how things started or how things will end.
Yeah. So, well, I think it's quite clear this is the plot. You might as well just watch the movie.
Right. So I'm going to state some plot points So after that, they go running around and then they get attacked by bioroids, and they fight.
Yes, I think at one point refers to I think they've referred to something different in the book. I think they call it like air droid. That's like a weird name for it.
And then there's 11 kids apparently because you assume because they're numbered 1 to 11. Your main characters are like I think one's called 7 and one's called 11.
Oh yeah, aren't they? Yeah, I didn't really think of that. One's called 11, one's called 7.
11's mute, but apparently is the password for the ultimate device.
Yeah, her genetic code.
What else we got here? They find a gunhead, which apparently has its own AI. So for the whole bit at the beginning, where they're fighting the mecha robot thing, were there any pilots at all, or were they just automated? And if they are just automated, why would it be pilotable?
So it definitely is a pilot because in the. I might as well go into the character bit here because I was going to say the Chiron 5, the supercomputer that gained control. And it gained sentience after 5 years, whatever. Although it doesn't seem to just destroy all human, it seems to be a destroy all human kind of robot. But in the prologue, he actually tries to reason with the last standing human in battle, which is that surviving gunhead. He actually tries to reason with this is pointless. You're the last survivor. Why continue fighting? You might as well leave, kind of thing. But he doesn't. And they kind of get to like a stalemate. I'm guessing the pilot dies and the gunhead's still intact. The pilot dies and gunhead's damaged. And that's it. And then the AI.
It can't be that damaged. It works really well 13 years in the future.
I mean, and also the sentient computer plays pretty much it's like a non-entity after the first chapter.
And the gunhead apparently has full equipment as well. It's fully stocked of all its ammo.
Yeah, it's got all its ammo.
Somehow.
Almost its ammo, whatever. I don't understand why the AI just is now pretty much non-entity. I'm guessing that in the film that's not a case.
It hasn't woken yet, apparently.
All right, and then it's the other robots.
That's what the mute child's password is to do. To activate it for its doomsday protocol.
I guess it went dormant state and then couldn't wake back up.
So they find a gunhead crystal, and then they activate it, and it tells them... Oh, what was that stupid thing? That 20 years before they found Tex-Mexium, it invented Tex-Mexium, and that's a big plot point.
Still can't get over that name. That is worse than Unobtainium. I'm sorry.
And the ending just ends. It's like they just went, fine, we'll just do a nice standard easy ending now, because everyone dies except him and the main lady. They kiss and make up, and it's happily ever after the island explodes.
The kids are still alive as well.
Yeah, because they stow away.
Yeah,
he walks into the ship. He can't take Gunhed because, I don't know if this is the translation, Gunhed says he's too fat to fit in the ship and can't lose weight.
It's something similar, if I remember correctly. It is something similar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the ending, they just wanted to make it a nice, happy ending instead of actually explaining stuff.
I'm guessing the idea is the last act, you need to see the film. I'm guessing.
Generally for you English audiences, they prefer happier endings, so it could be that as well. I don't know, I haven't actually seen the film.
No, I'll get to that.
Like, there is absolutely, it makes no sense to me, this entire thing.
So I read it twice. So that's how I got a bit more sense. And then also I've got the official translation, which obviously makes more sense. So we might as well move on to characters here. I mentioned Kyron 5. Let's go on to Brooklyn.
No, Brew.
Who is he's a young mechanic trying to be a pilot, and throughout the story, he is a typical shonen protagonist. He doesn't really have any character development other than suddenly a few panels of brief of tragic past. Oh dear, we were trapped in a thing with very little oxygen, so my dad killed himself so I'd have more oxygen. And then that's it. That's not touched again, ever again. I'm gonna guess in the film it's like PTSD thing, and it'll get covered all the times. But in the manga, it's almost like they're just gonna briefly mention that this exists. Bye.
If this video gets enough likes, I will watch this movie and review it, and I'm gonna hate this movie.
Now here's the thing: do we watch the English version or the original Japanese version with subtitles? Because the original Japanese version actually was quite successful.
I don't know. I'll give it a go. I'll have a think.
Yeah. Any comments on Brooklyn?
I can't remember anything that happened. It's just gone out of my mind. Like, he apparently knows everything that the Gunhed can do just by sitting in it. Like, what weapons it has, what it can do.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be like some kind of like psychic link almost, but like I know Gundam does a little bit. I guess the Mex character is such a brief one to mention is B, because she has a big role. She's spunky cyborg lass and is good friends with Brooklyn, clearly supposed to be like potential love interest.
Introduced in like the first 10 pages and then just appears at the end dead, yeah.
As because she gets... I might as well spoil it, okay. She gets...
Wait, how can we not spoil it? It's there are only 3 chapters.
She gets captured by the AI and turned into one of the biorobots.
Yeah.
But enough of her conscience, because it was done quickly and hastily, her conscience remains to a certain degree and stops herself from hurting Brooklyn and basically saves the day by doing the heroic sacrifice. And he doesn't want to leave her, but she's like, no, you have no choice. And you've got, I guess, she ends up being the love interest, which is so forced in this.
Amazingly forced.
There's not enough development for her. But Corporal Nim, was that her name in yours? Nim.
Yeah.
Corporal Nim.
I didn't pay much attention to that because everything's just bro.
I can't believe that's in the online translation. That's amazing. She's a ranger, like, military kind of ranger, who is the only survivor of her unit, which that aspect of the book had nothing. It was just like, some Rangers about. Oh, now she's only one to life. What? So I'm guessing that's like a little scene where they get annihilated in the film. She's shown to be quite resilient in body and spirit. At first, I thought her legs were cybernetic, but the color version makes it a bit more obvious than the black and white version.
She does slap and attack Bro for helping her as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, most of her scenes are very brief, so we don't really get any development other than that. She's a strong female character.
She must be. She was critically wounded by being stabbed everywhere, and is completely fine.
She didn't have cybernetic.
No, she's completely fine.
Yes, I'm gonna guess this is just again this was a rush job. And I guess the only other character worth mentioning is Gunhed itself, the AI, because it has the mech has its own intelligence, as we mentioned earlier. Mostly acts like a battle computer, with the exception that it tries to use baseball info constantly to cheer Broken up, and also to use as like metaphors for things.
Oh, you didn't think I caught that? You just called him bro.
Hmm?
You just called him bro.
Oh, shut up. Oh, fuck it. All the baseball references were just so random. Like, was it in the film version? Is there a bit where to fix the computer, he has to like attach like a baseball game thing or whatever into it to like use as like a middle thing? And that's why. I don't know. No idea why. All the baseball references for the AI. Have you got anything else to say about characters before we move on to the art section?
Their leader is literally called Leader.
Oh, he actually had a name, and it began with a B as well.
Bancho means leader.
Bancho, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Bancho.
the leader is literally called Leader.
Oh, so Bancho's leader.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. I can't believe I forgot that, and I'm the one who learned a bit of Japanese. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna write a bit about him, and then he got killed off very quickly, so yeah, not worth mentioning it. What have you just sent me? Oh, bro, let her go. Oh. Yes, thank you for the reference to that page. So might as well get into the art section. To be fair, this manga is actually quite well detailed.
When it was made, it is of the era it was made in.
Of the era, yes.
It's very Akira.
Yes. Very early 90s, I would say. Yeah, it just came out in 1990, I think it came out. Or 89. Yeah, it has, like I say, good use of shading to capture some decent 3D effects and certain things. The art detail is focused on the mechas and characters, while the background is minimalized, but still enough there. I believe this was probably done to try and make the action a bit more intense. It fairly exceeds in that, I guess.
Well, chapter 1 was that action, it was incomprehensible.
Yes, I was about to say. But sometimes it's hard to be 100% certain what the hell is happening in those action scenes. Especially the mecha fight. I couldn't figure out the life of me and some of the bits. Just a bit confusing. I think there's a bit where it's again. I think when the evil mechas is stabbing another one. I think I can't. That's how it'll be on the video, the picture.
Because like chapter 1, there's no humans shown. It just says that there's a human pilot, and it never shows him. Their gunhead mecha gets beaten. But apparently, when they come back in the future, 13 years in the future, it's fixed with full ammo.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I just posted this to you just a second ago, but for some reason, the random bit is both in the online version and in the physical book, where it looks like the artist ran out of time to finish.
I honestly thought that was a joke.
No, I think that was that is this. Again, it'll be on screen for you. There's a few panels here where it's just line art, like storybook line art, and it just like maybe it's supposed to be a joke, like I say, but it looks like to me that they ran out of time. Like they were on a very tight schedule with this, and they ran out of time for these panels. I've never seen that in a printed book before.
Well, it's odd, like, because like the first chapter is just called Prologue, which is like nothing in chapters. 2 is absolutely dense, and 3 is just the same as the first one, which is called Epilogue, where nothing happens.
Yeah. So in the actual printed version, this is actually divided a bit more. So each so on what you read there with the online version, the first book for me actually was a bit of it was all the first chapter plus part of the second chapter, and the third book was the end bit of the second chapter plus the third bit. So it was spread out a bit more evenly in the book version.
Like, I'm up to this point here as well. Gunhed can apparently control all machines because it can turn on elevators when they're not there. It can do basically everything, but he's still lost originally, which is weird.
Makes me wonder
does it
whether
state why he just shut down?
I think his partner got killed.
No, I mean the sentient AI.
I think it took heavy damage, so went into like a repair state. But it seems like it murdered all the technicians.
I like how you said you think, because it doesn't actually clearly state.
Yeah, it really doesn't. I mean, even with the printed version, which is far more clearer and easier to understand, I still think it's footnotes. This was manga is. It's footnotes for the film.
No, it's like they just cut out every bit of well, it's not even unnecessary. They only kept the absolute bare bones of stuff.
Yeah, like I said, the footnotes, like the structured part, and that was it. But the artist did a good job. I'll still say that at least. So moving on to the design aspect, the mechs are very bulky, which probably makes them look more realistic in a sense, rather than like Gundam. But that is spoiled by how big the weapons are. I mean, also, I'm not sure if you noticed it. I'll send you this right now. People see it on screen, but
it's also transforming tank mech as well.
Also, what is the hell is with that position of that Gatling gun?
Yeah.
Why has he got a Gatling gun penis?
So what I don't get about the end, right, is they went there to solve basically a crisis of no resources, and then they just blow it up at the end and didn't get anything out of it.
Well, scavengers weren't there for solving a major problem. They were just there to get resources. Thinking that
but they didn't even get any resources. Everyone died, and nothing. They gained nothing.
Well, I mean, it stopped the AI from destroying the world.
Would that have happened if he wasn't there, though?
Also, people looking on a screen, the design of this mecha. Does anyone else get Freddy Fazbear's kind of look from the face? Just saying. If Five Nights Freddy,
it is a mecha that is functional, though.
Yes,
you could see it actually existing. And I think that gun's there because when it goes into tank mode, it is on front because it transforms, doesn't it? I mean, it's never stated; it just is.
Yeah. The characters are well drawn, facial expressions are well executed. They're very old school, like I mentioned earlier. Brooklyn design is like very old Gundam protagonist vibe. Nim is just wearing a military uniform, not much different to real world. The book, interesting enough, the book version, at the end of each book, it gives like information about the film, who's directing and whatnot. And one of them also mentions the mech designs in this book and the film were done by Misharu Kamori, who made the Macross mech designs.
You can tell.
I never read Macross or watched it, but I thought you might appreciate that.
I watched it ages ago. It wasn't the kind of thing I was into back then. Mecha is an odd genre, which I'll get to when we get to the last section anyway.
The last section is would we read more? So you might as well.
Well, we can't read more anyway because there is only what there is.
Yeah, but I got.
Would we suffer and watch the movie?
Yes. As we read the whole thing, obviously this, and I know as overall this comic was created to encourage people to see the English version of the Japanese move of the. Really,
this entire thing is basically Ghost in the Shell in art style. It looks very Ghost in the Shell because when he's inside the gun mecha, he has the helmet on with all the wires. It looks very reminiscent of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, there's a few series that have that, I have to say.
So, as I was going to allude into there, mecha is a hard genre to get into.
Yes.
It's really hard.
They're either down to earth and realistic to a sense, or super over the top.
Like when you're trying to recommend manga to people in certain genres, you know the go-to to recommend. Mecha doesn't have that.
I think everyone will just say Gundam. And then which one?
Yeah, but original Gundam has not aged well.
Not original, no. No.
Wing hasn't aged well. You could just go to the latest Gundam, I suppose.
Original Gundam Seed? Not Destiny, just Seed.
Themes are... I'd just state, go to the newest Gundam based on when you were born.
Yeah, it's not always good, though. I mean...
Iron-Blooded Orphans is amazing. That's more close to this one, because that one does away with beam weapons for a reason. To make it more down to earth, that's why I appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would not recommend a person read this. If they are to read this, get the physical volume.
Yes.
Because the online translation is garbage.
And the black and white of the online version makes it really hard to tell sometimes what's going on. Like, I compared some sections when I was going through it, and some bits were unreadable. I thought something completely different had happened in the black and white version compared to the color version. So there's that. I mean, obviously we won't read more because there's any more to read, but I actually want to try to see if we can find this Japanese movie. It'd be interesting to compare.
If people want to know as well, Gunhead's last words are "Goodbye, bro."
I can't remember what they are in the book.
I've literally got on screen. No. His last words before he blows up is "Goodbye, bro." Wow.
You can tell this is a 80s to 90s action movie. You really can
I not just pay some randomer to redo this for me?
Oh, no, I actually want to watch the movie. I actually genuinely am interested in watching
Honestly, though, it doesn't feel like a 3-part. It's just like a one-shot. You could just combine all 3 into one and just make it like a 300-page long one-shot.
See, you might have been better off doing like a little brief thing rather than doing this plot line overview kind of thing, because I think this would put people off more than it'd actually encourage them to go and see the movie. But I am genuinely curious for the movie, I have to say.
It's about 150-ish pages, the whole thing.
So it was actually quick to get through, but
the middle bit is dense with text that makes no sense to me, though. Because I don't have context for a lot of things that they're saying.
Yeah, that is a problem. Like like I said, we wouldn't recommend reading this. I would, if you're really interested in the plot, try to find the movie.
If you like old, fully series mecha things, because this is basically something for just mecha fans.
But majority of it, only the bit at the beginning and the bit at the end has the mecha.
Like, it's odd because people read Ghost in the Shell, even though it's old because it has the themes of what is human and stuff. This
Do
is
people
just
read Ghost in
action
the
for the
Shell?
sake of action.
Do they read Ghost in the Shell? Or do they watch it? Because the actual book is the manga is nothing like the series or the films.
I don't even think I fully watched it all. I watched the first and second original movies.
And standalone complex, original standalone complex.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch the Mew like Arise. I don't know if I was bothered about them, but the manga, it's very weird. It's not intelligent. The manga, the film version and TV series tried to be a really intelligent series. The manga, from what I remember, is just cheesecake. But anyway, that's another series. And just a random additional thing I found out is the mecha from this film actually has appeared in one game, Super Robot Wars in 2015.
Of course, it did. Every mecha's in Super Robot Wars.
Yeah, so apparently this actually appeared in one of the games. There's also two other games as well, two game adaptations of the movie back in 89 and 90. So it had a big enough thing, at least the original Japanese movie. So I'm actually curious about it. So I did mention that this robot war apparently happened in 2025. Oh, it's always quite funny when you get these futuristic things. It's like in the year 2000 or something.
It states it does apparently baseball references because the main female is a Texas Air Ranger.
But he has no interactions with her.
Sergeant Nim is a Texas Air Ranger.
Yeah, she's a Texas Ranger. But again, has nothing. He only interacts with Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn known for its baseball? I have no idea.
Yeah. It really, I think it is, yeah.
Oh. I think we should move on. I think we've finished this review. I think we should move on to our what we're doing next time.
Yes. Into the newest section, because for the next one we've got different layouts.
I'm gonna try and
updated visuals.
Aye. So I'm just gonna this time I'm gonna be a bit more simple and hope that I get better results. So I'm just gonna go onto the manga site and I'm gonna click a genre and see and random. So see what I get. So
While you're looking at that, I'm just gonna state you can get Gunhed on DVD. But it's 90 quid.
Oh, is that the Japanese version?
Yeah. Or you can get it on VHS for 12 quid.
That's still quite a lot for VHS.
I'll see if I can find... Oh, hang on. Sorry. Carry on.
What have you found?
I found a build kit of the Gunhed mecha.
So the film must have been successful.
A 1/35th scale.
And what?
1/35th scale Kotobukiya Gunhed mecha. Beautiful.
I'm just there's so much stuff for it. The film must have been all right. We have to go and see the film.
This is a £135 figurine, by the way.
Wow.
Which comes with a bro statue to go with it.
Oh no.
And it transforms.
Well,
so on to the next series anyway.
Yeah, I'm just gonna randomly click. You know what? Let's do mystery. And we have Kurosagi, the Black Swindler.
Is that a mystery?
God. Yeah, apparently it's on. I've just clicked. It says genre, drama, mystery, psychology, and seinen. I guess it's been mystery. Probably not.
Kurosagi it is then.
I haven't read this in years. I read some of this several years ago. Was it back when we were in uni? Good God. I don't remember much. I remember it being super well researched. Basically, it's about a guy who swindles other swindlers to get money back for victims. It was actually. I remember it being quite interesting. So it'd be nice to read this again. I need to catch up with it. It's been that many years. This actually had a live action series. Interestingly enough, it was quite successful. And the second one, Shonen. I've got quite a few Shonens to go through.
At least make it an obscure Shonen.
Well, we've got Sandland.
I don't remember that one.
I only know that I know this because I had the first ever monthly Shonen Jump, and the very early Shonen Jumps had Sandland as well.
Really, it's Akira Toriyama.
It's a Dragon Ball guy. Yep. I've never read it. I know of its existence because of the monthly Shonen Jump, but I have it on my shelf.
I've got it up here. It's 14 chapters.
Not too bad then. And if I just remember, they announced a game for it recently. There's a PlayStation 5 game coming out soon for this manga, which is weird considering it came out a very long time ago. Back in early 2000s. So, yeah.
Well, on this website, it was last updated on the 25th of August, 19.
Yeah, that's the online version. The
2016 it was fully done.
It was fully done in 2016.
It is, I think here, yeah.
Maybe that's the English version. I don't know. Because I remember it in the first ever monthly Shonen Jump.
Let's have a look.
And that was. Let me just go off my shelf, actually.
Original run 2000s to 2000s. It ended in that year.
Yeah, because I've got the.
And it has an animated film, apparently.
Oh, fair enough. I've got like the first ever monthly Shonen Jump here.
And it has a PS4 and PS5 game.
Yeah, which comes out in September.
Yeah.
Yeah, January 2003, the first ever monthly Shonen Jump, Sandland is in it. So it came out a while back. So interested in doing the game for it now, but so have you ever read Kurosaki?
I read a little. I didn't read all of it because it's the kind of, since it's a mystery thing. Well, not mystery, it's episodic, where he has cases, bit sort of. I didn't want it to end mid-case.
Yes, I did the exact same thing. It's very complicated as well. And Sandland, I've never actually read. To be fair,
I didn't even know it existed.
It was funny because actually when they showed off the trailer for the game during the presentation, when it showed the guy, I instantly, I never read it, I instantly recognized it as Sandland because it's on my shelf with the monthly Shonen Jump annual I've got over there. Oh, so 2 interesting ones to cover the next time. So, till then, goodbye.